Chair now recognizes Representative Jackson.
Thank you much, Chairman. I think it's important to hear the voices of employees directly impacted by this administration's effort to dismantle USAID. One foreign service member recently filed a declaration declaring how the chaos created by these abrupt actions of USAID being shut down jeopardized his and his family's safety during the recent evacuation from the DRC. I ask unanimous consent that his account be entered into the record book, Mr. Chairman. It's a harrowing account of we've left our employees abroad stranded because of the rashness of this decision. I have this entered into the record, Chairman. Mr. Primark, thank you, and thank you, Mr. Yayo and Natasha, for coming out today. Mr. Primark, you've written extensively in Project 2025 about your critique of USAID. May I ask you, do you work with any of the members of DOGE or DOGE? How do you pronounce the name of the committee?
No, not at all. No communication whatsoever.
Do you know the pronunciation of that organization?
I just call it Doge like others do.
Okay. Is it a private firm or is it a government entity?
It's a government entity, and the people working for it are government approved.
It was formed by who?
The President of the United States.
And how is it funded?
I understand that most are working for free, but any other costs are going to be covered by the U.S. government.
If they're working for free, who's paying them? Are they employees of Mr. Musk?
I have no idea.
Okay, I just know that you have an extremely close working relationship with the organization. And how many years have you worked in foreign affairs and in foreign aid?
About 35 years, different capacities from NGOs as a contractor, State Department, working for the office of or for the Vice President, and also directly with USAID.
Thank you. Is there anything that a 19-year-old could tell you about USAID that you don't understand from your years of experience?
My understanding is that they're technical staff.
Can any of those 19-year-olds teach you something that you don't understand about USAID?
In terms of anything to do with data overview and looking at things, I'm just clueless. Sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I think for the record, I'd like it to be clear that you and I would probably have a difference of opinion on what diversity means. In this African American History Month, Mr. Frederick Douglass had written an article and a speech regarding composite nation, that this is a land of many different cultures, races, ethnicities that have all come to call this great land home. And if we're looking at the future of Africa in the year 2050 being 1 in 4 human beings on Earth, that there should be a push for cultural diversity, expanding how we reach out to people. And so when we talk about America and USAID betrayal, I'd like to put the eye on DOGE. Not one member on this panel has had anything to say or do with the cuts of food. And let it also be entered into the record at this moment, the irony of the richest man on earth taking food away from the poorest humans on this earth. Let it also be entered into the record that the most powerful man on earth is denying food assistance, medical assistance, malaria vaccinations to the poorest people on earth. We don't need to operate in this chaotic manner. I would like to ask Mr. Natsios, how should this project work? How should we be convened today that would make this more productive?
Sorry. This is a more radical proposal, but I had proposed this in Foreign Affairs some years ago. I think we need to consolidate the MCC, the DFC, AID, and a couple of the foreign aid parts of the State Department into one department and raise the visibility and integrate the programs more. I don't think, for example, there be a representative for the DFC and the MCC in each country that they work in. They can have the aid mission do that. They could be an integrated mission for all of these purposes. There are countries where there's CDC and AID running the same program, PEPFAR. It's never been corrected. Frankly, they fight with each other. It's embarrassing and it's duplicative, and there's no need for it. I think they should put one agency in charge of the whole thing, and that's it. That's what happened with the malaria program, and it's worked very well. The third thing I would do is decentralize. Now, with what's going on now, no one will agree to this, but the literature on bureaucratic processes, James Q. Wilson, my favorite writer, who's, by the way, a conservative, he says decentralize every administrative function at the lowest level where people have knowledge of what's going on. You have to have oversight in Washington. But AID during the Cold War was the most decentralized agency, and it drove the Russians crazy because the mission directors and the ambassadors could be responsive to the local president and the local prime minister, and that's one of the reasons we won the Cold War. We helped win the Cold War through AID because we were highly decentralized and very responsive. Right now, there are 275 earmarks in AID. We tell the country what, because we don't have any choice. The whole budget, there's no flexibility in the budget.
Thank you, gentlemen, and I yield back.
Thank you, Representative Jackson.